Hi, and congratulations to the class of 2020. Today, I'm going to talk with you guys about time management. Not my personal favorite subject. I find it hard to do sometimes, but as I've gotten older, I've learned that you can get better at it and do a couple things here and there to make yourself more efficient and more productive and get to do all the things that you want to do. So before I begin, just a little bit of background on myself. My name is Grace Foil, and I graduated from LSU in May of 2019, so pretty recently, from the College of Business. And my degree was in marketing with a concentration in professional sales. So I then started my career right after graduation in the financial services industry. So it was just kind of a good fit for me because it involves so much client interaction and explaining things to people. And it's just a very social industry. And I liked that a lot with my marketing degree and then that business college background as well for the financial aspect. So I spent the last year as a recruiter with Penn Mutual, and I just moved up into the financial services specialist position with Hancock Whitney Bank. So working in the industry, I had to learn how to best manage my time on which prospective candidates or which new clients to schedule appointments with in my new position and how to speak with them in the best time flowing way possible, and just allocating my time between work, going from college and taking a few classes a day to a 40-hour work week, and then having to do social activities and family time and church and all that good stuff as well. So it's been quite a learning experience. So with that, let's go ahead and begin the presentation. So I'll share my screen. All right, so like I said, we're talking about time management today. And if you have any questions afterwards or anything like that, feel free to reach out to me and let me know. So just a quote to start us off: time management is really a misnomer. The challenge is not to manage time, but to manage ourselves. So just something to think about. It's not necessarily about how much time you have in a day as it is about all the different things that we're doing and deciding like what's important to us and what's not important to us. So some key concepts that we're going to go over are identifying critical activities, time blocking, and then your ideal week or month, what that would look like if you could plan it out from start to finish, and then planning rituals that you can do each day to help with this efficiency. And then just identifying how you particularly work best. Not all these things might work for you. I know for me, I kind of change it up and do different things. It just kind of depends on your personality. So this is the huge thing that I do that I find really helpful in order to make sure I get the things done in my job, but also just like with my home life and personal life. I wake up each morning and I do a call brain dump. So I basically write everything down that's in my brain and needs to come out. So I put down at work, I have my notebook, and as soon as I sit down in my office chair, I write down, I need to call X, Y, and Z today. I need to do this, this, and this. And I put the things that are most important at the top, and then the things that are less important or I can get to tomorrow at the bottom. And even if I know I'm not going to get to it that day, I definitely put it on there still, so that way it's still on my mind. And if I, have it on my mind, then I'm going to remember it tomorrow and the next day. I also will put things on there kind of on the side that I might need to do at home or socially or mentally. So I might put on there, okay, clean your bathroom or schedule a doctor's appointment because it's time for you to go, or don't forget to plan that meeting you have after work or that event or join that club, things like that. So that way I remember. And the other thing to remember is everything is important, then nothing is important. It's just a good words to live by. Kind of pick out what the most important things are each day and try to tackle those first. So this is a little metaphor to show y'all the rocks are the truly important things in life. So I'll explain what I mean by that. So here's kind of like a picture of what I think time management looks like. Life is supposed to be the jar right there. That's our life. We only have a certain amount of time each day, each year to get all the things that we want to get done to get done. And then we fill it with rocks. And once it's filled with that rock, you don't get that space back. But you have the air here and there that you can fill with sort of that dead space. So the rocks are the things you got to get done. Holidays. Everyone wants to celebrate the holidays. That's important. You're going to have that time blocked away. So that's a rock in your life right there. Personal time away, vacations, work each day. That takes up a huge amount of your time each day. Events after work. You might be a part of a social club or a networking group, something in the community, things like that. Church, different things you might go to. It just kind of depends on you. That fills up your jar. So just kind of a picture there. Time blocking. So time blocking is a cool method that I use to help, have my calendar ready to go each week and make sure I can focus on certain projects at certain points in time. And I'll show you what I mean. So a good way to plan is 3 different ways. We can plan through annually, quarterly, and weekly. So annually, what I like to do is I like to have a business plan each year. So when you start that job, meet with your manager and say, hey, what is our company's annual goal for my position? And what would be great for me to hit this year in order for me to be considered doing a great job? So even though I'm not required to write a business plan for my position, I always meet with my manager in any new position and see what I can do. So for me, I had a certain goal for recruitment when I was the recruiter that I had to hit each year, and my manager told me to hit that, and that would be, a sign of success. So I was able to hit that in the beginning of the year, around the halfway point, and that, kind of led to me being able to go above and beyond after hitting that goal early. So by having that annual goal, I'm able to focus on that daily, saying, hey, I need to hit this goal this year. Am I doing everything I can today to make sure I'm hitting that goal? So with that, there's also quarterly goals. So just periodically, I like to evaluate how I'm doing, see if there's anything I need to be changing. Maybe what I'm doing in my job isn't working. So I also like to meet with a mentor that I think is doing a really good job in the industry, and we talk about once a month or so, and I say, hey, like this didn't work for me. What would you advise from your point of view? And just having that person keeping me accountable, it really helps me to hit my goals a lot better. And then lastly, weekly goals. Sometimes those annual goals can get really overwhelming, and thinking about everything you have to hit that year, it can be a lot to think about, and it can get stressful. So just breaking it down each week can sometimes help. So the way I do that is I like to do meetings. I don't like long meetings because I think those can be a little unproductive, but I like to meet with my manager once a week and say, hey, this is what I got this week. What do you recommend moving forward? Are you satisfied with that? And it's just a great time to ask questions if there's anything you want to improve on, rather than wasting time and trying to figure out how to do it yourself. It's a good chance to ask those questions, get the right answer right away. And then just, again, it keeps me accountable each week. I'm trying to hit a goal each week to make sure I'm doing enough activity for that weekly meeting. So there's multiple different categories to divide up the things that we do each day. So we have our critical revenue generating activities. So these are the things we do at work that provide value and provide revenue for the company. So these are kind of like the big hits. So for me, that's working with the client on an appointment, my phone calls that I have each day where I'm reaching out to my clients or following up with them and making sure everything's going well for them. And then also marketing and prospecting. So going to networking events, meeting with different people, finding new clients, things like that. So those are the revenue activities. Then you have the important or core activities. So these are the things that you have to do every day as well, but they're more of like the nitty gritty stuff, not as exciting, I would say, as the revenue generating activity. So that's sort of the preparation that you have to do before you meet with a client, following up with those clients and documenting everything. Not my favorite thing to do, but you have to write everything down so you don't forget it when you meet with them in the future. So plug in all your information from your clients into that database that your company might have. And then just the other things you have to do, such as checking emails, checking your voicemail, things like that. And then the last type of activity that you have are the activities that don't add value. Definitely not the best category, but we all have our moments where we're procrastinating or we start surfing the web. We just get distracted. We have them. It's hard to put a complete stop to them, but if you start practicing with the time blocking, which we're going to go over, I think it definitely helps to kill that dead time. So here is a sample time block. So I know it can look a little overwhelming, and this one's a pretty intense one, but making one of these really can improve your day by so much, and just kind of having like a basic schedule, it's great. So for me, I have a calendar very similar to this on my work computer, and I have what they call them reoccurring activities, and they're time blocked out. The color coding is super great for each activity because it also helps me with my goals. So for me, I have goals to make a certain amount of appointments with clients each week. So I can see if I have them in blue, all my appointments, then I'll see, hey, right away, I see 5 blue blocks. That means I set 5 appointments this week. I need to set more, or I'm ahead this week. Let's put some for next week. So it's really helpful for me. I like to put the worst thing that I don't want to do each day at the beginning of my day. So for me, that is making my phone calls. I don't particularly love calling people on the phone. And if I don't do it at the beginning of the day, I either A, might forget to call them, or B, have myself thinking about that phone call all day and how it's going to go, or C, wait till the end of the day and then have the client be busy and not be able to get back with me. So by putting it at the beginning of the day, I get it over with. I might get a response faster, and I don't have to think about it. So you can, easily find one of these model week calendars online if you don't have something available digitally, and print it out. I used to like to do a hard copy. So it just depends on what you want to do. You can either do it on your computer, print one out, whatever works best. And so I really think that time blocking is a great tool for your calendar. It protects it in a sense that people can see, your coworkers might be able to see, oh, from 8 to 9, Grace does her calls. I'm not going to bother her during that time because I know that's important. But it also prevents switch tasking and multitasking, which is something when I first started off working, I was really bad about. So I would start a task, or I would start making phone calls, or I would start doing searches or typing something in my database. And then all of a sudden think, oh, I don't feel like working on this anymore. Let me just switch over and do this phone call real quick. But when I started doing that, I noticed things weren't getting done as quickly as I would have liked to have gotten them done. And I would go a whole day where, okay, I did a little bit of each thing, but nothing fully got done. So blocking things out really was a huge help for me. Just taking the time to do that. It doesn't take that much time to put something on your calendar. Really helpful. Definitely recommend. So this is just a fun little slide saying that multitasking is worse than a lie. As much as I like to think that I am this great multitasker, I'm not. So it's just best for me to probably avoid it, focus on getting one thing done, and then not having to worry about it anymore. And I think it causes less stress as well, from getting things done and being able to cross things off my list from my brain dump. That's the best. So just some time hacks that you can take. Doing a daily priority review, so looking at that list you made that morning and seeing what you got done, and thinking, okay, tomorrow I need to do better and get these things done. Taking breaks, super important. Breaks definitely help. I like to tell myself if I finish this, then I can go for a little walk around the block, around the office, or I can go get a cup of coffee, something like that. So you have something to look forward to after you finish that task that you don't feel like doing. And then just thinking about how can you be efficient when you're going on walks or you're in the car. I like to make phone calls during that time or schedule doctor's appointments, catch up with a friend that you haven't talked to in a long time. Car time's really good for that. And then the 2-minute rule, this is a fun one. They say if it takes less than 2 minutes, then it can become a habit. So that's kind of like telling yourself, okay, I see that dirty dishes in the sink. It only takes 2 minutes to wash it or less. Let me go ahead and do that right now. Or at work, hey, I know I need to make that phone call. It's going to take less than 2 minutes to dial their number and call them. Let me just get it out of the way and do it now. And then it'll start to become habit every time you see that dish or every time you see that email from a client to call them right away or to wash that dish right away. So with that, this quote says, "It is not enough to be busy. The question is, what are we busy about?" So, I mean, just take that with a grain of salt and think about it. Time is a tricky thing, super valuable in our lives, but just think about how you're spending it and how you can best use it each day. I definitely think it's a skill that can be learned, and with practice, people can get better at. So, with that, I wish everyone, again, a happy graduation. Congratulations to you all again, and best of luck in your new careers.